Hey everyone, this is Trent with our maintenance group, and today I wanted to go over our APUs and talk about several different things on the APUs that we have on our equipment right now. So what you're looking at right here is called the Tripac. We have the Tripac unit. It's made by Thermo on pretty much all of our trucks. But we currently right now have two different generations of this unit. So we've got the second generation, which has been around for a long time, and then since October of 2023, we have now had the third generation getting put on new trucks. So depending on how old your truck is, you're going to have one of these two generations. I'm going to spend most of my time talking about the second generation unit right here. This is still what a majority of our units have today, so this is more than likely what your tractor has. The easiest way to tell the difference is by looking in the cab and the controls in the cab. If you have three knobs with no screen, no display, and just those three knobs, then you've got the old Tripac. If you have a LED digital screen with some buttons on the bottom, that means you've got the new Tripac 3. So Tripac 2, the main issue or headache that we have with this is that it doesn't have any codes or diagnostics at all. There's no computer on it. So you know, when it breaks down, you kind of have to take some spaghetti out and throw it at the wall and see what sticks. So I'm going to go over a lot of those simple things that you can look over yourselves to hopefully keep us from getting into a shop somewhere. If it's not something simple, then we probably will have to take it in and get it looked at a shop. So starting out, I want to first of all talk about something that's not a maintenance issue. This isn't really something broken on the unit at all. There's a power switch right here on the engine block. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, the APU's not running, you're not sure why, you don't have any power at all, check this switch first thing. The first thing you should look at is make sure this power switch is flipped on. If that's okay, then the next thing you'll look at is your oil. You'll check your oil level. The oil dipstick is over here with the yellow handle, and then you add oil in right here where this orange cap is. One thing of note on this engine, it's a small engine. It doesn't take a lot of oil, so you need to add oil into it pretty sparingly. Don't put a lot in all at once. About a cup at a time is all you need to put in each segment. Check the oil level again, make sure it's not overfilled. If you do overfill the oil on this engine, that is a big problem. We need to make sure and get that oil extracted back out down below the full mark. If you run the engine overfilled with oil, it's going to create too much pressure inside the engine, and it can cause the rear seals on the engine to blow out, which will require an engine rebuild. So be sure that you do not overfill the oil on this engine. Next thing is coolant. So over here on the side of the engine, you've got your coolant reservoir, and you can look at the level right here on the side of that reservoir. Something of note here, you don't want to take this cap off if your engine is hot. If you haven't let your engine cool down fully yet, don't mess with this yet. And really the level isn't where it should be yet anyway. So what you're looking at here isn't going to be important until this engine has fully cooled down. If you do take this cap off while the engine is still hot, you're going to be looking at some pretty serious burns, so be careful with that. Next thing is belts. We've got two belts on the engine, so either side of the engine block has a belt on it. You want to look at both sides and make sure both of those belts are on there, they're secure, and they have good tension on them. Next, two fans. You've got a fan right here on the side of the engine compartment, and on the back of your cab you've got a second fan here, the condenser fan. You want to make sure both of those fan blades are spinning freely. There's no obstructions, like a twig gets stuck in those blades. That can be a problem sometimes. And last thing here is going to be under your bunk. Under your bunk, you've got this black box, and on the side of that black box, you're going to see a blue filter here that looks like this. This is a washable filter. We don't need to replace this filter ever. You can rinse it out over and over and over again. So any spigot, any fuel island, any truck stop, just put some water through this. We need to do that about once a month. Every 30 days, roughly every time you turn the calendar page, make sure you're getting this cleaned out. But if you have a shutdown issue, check the filter and make sure it's not dirty and you didn't miss doing it. Beyond that, you know, there's really not much else here that I can point you to and have you look at. Just kind of check the overall condition of it, make sure there's no obviously broken parts or broken wires, anything like that. If you can't find an obvious issue, then we are going to be taking this to the shop. So the last thing that I want to cover here on the APU is going to be the fact that it doesn't perform at a very high level when it gets into really extreme heat. You know, there's a lot of variables at play here, like humidity, sunlight, wind speed around the unit. Those are all factors that are going to contribute to this overheating. So somewhere in the upper 90s to low 100s you're going to see this overheat and shut down. And I'm mainly talking about the Tripac 2 right now. The Tripac 3 has made a couple of improvements on this. But when it overheats and shuts down because it gets too hot, there are a couple of things you can do. Okay, so first of all, the best thing you can do in this situation is to get out of the sun. Try to find somewhere in the shade where you don't have direct sunlight beaming down on this black unit that's getting it hot. That will help it a ton. But I understand your challenges. I was a driver out there for a long time, and I know you guys live in concrete parking lots and can't always find shade. So if you can't find somewhere in the shade to park your truck, create a little bit right here. Stick an umbrella on the top of the unit. That's going to help shield it from the sun and will help it run a little bit cooler for a little bit longer. The last thing you can do here that will significantly help this out, run a little bit cooler, is open this flap up right here. Open this flap up, that's going to help air movement around the engine, and that will help cool it down. We're talking about another 5 to 10 degrees here that we're working within. But you know, when it gets to a certain temperature outside, this is going to shut down. It just can't keep running when it gets over 110, 115 degrees. So when you get to that environment, you've got a choice to make. You're in extreme heat. We have idle shutdown on our tractors. The truck will run if you want to make it run and cool yourself down by idling. That's not what I would suggest you do. In fact, I would really advocate that you not do that, because we have an exhaust system on the tractor and we see a lot of issues from drivers idling the tractors. What I would advocate for, if the APU can't keep you cool, is to get out of the truck and get in a hotel room. You can get with your fleet manager for more info about how that works and the security aspect of that, but that's going to be a win for all of us here. We don't want to idle the truck. Also, I want to plug again my pro maintenance class. So this right here is in my classroom, and we do this class every day at 1:00 p.m. here in Springfield, Missouri. We also do a class every Thursday at our other terminals, Salt Lake and Pittston, same time, 1:00. This is just one thing that we cover. We've got about 30 or 40 different talking points that we go over in here. And, for the experienced drivers, the drivers that have been out there for a long time, I want to challenge you all to come in and do this class from time to time also, because the equipment changes. And you need to see those changes and understand, new things that are happening on the equipment as that develops. So thank you all. Appreciate all you do.